Hi, my name is Ivan. I'm a proud graduate of the Commercial Property Advisors Protege program. I initially paid $30,000 to join the program, which I saw a lot of upside in. Within just a few months, I found two 5-unit apartment buildings using the methods that Peter and Commercial Property Advisors taught me. We've been sending direct mail a certain way. I learned how to communicate with sellers. I learned how to negotiate with the banks. All of that information was taught by Commercial Property Advisors in their program. Within a few months of joining the program, I was able to acquire two 5-unit apartment buildings using all the trainings in the program. They taught me how to negotiate with the sellers, how to talk to the banks, how to find property management company, how to do rehabs, how to increase NOI of the building to eventually increase the asset value and be able to cash out, refi that through the bank and get you a down payment back. One of the properties I bought with pure cash, and after I did some rehab, I financed that property. But the other one, I followed the strategy that Peter told me, where you put money in, you stabilize the asset, you increase rents, and then once your rents are stabilized and you basically force appreciation for your property, you can refinance your mortgage with the bank and pull the down payment out and then use that money to go buy additional properties, which I did as well. So as a result, I recently sold two of the properties that I bought initially, just 4 years after I acquired them. And I made a total of 843,000 in profits after the banks have been paid off. I think I put in about 200,000 into the deal, and I pulled out more than 4 times that in just 4 short years. So there's definitely value in investing into commercial real estate. It allows you to multiply money like no other vehicle out there. I can't do that with stocks. Some people do it with crypto, but it's too risky and it's not sustainable at all. So real estate is definitely the vehicle that all the wealthy people use to create generational wealth. So after I graduated from the Protege program, Commercial Property Advisors returned my initial $30,000 investment that I paid up front to show my commitment to the program. So I get that money back, which was a cherry on top. Now I can go and take my wife to a restaurant. So without Commercial Property Advisors, I wouldn't be able to achieve such a high level of success, be able to make over $1 million in 4 years by selling just 4 small 5 to 6 unit properties. No other investment vehicle can help you achieve the same success. So thank you, Commercial Property Advisors and Peter. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, Ivan. So, Ivan, why? Let's start from the kind of beginning. Why did you choose to join the program?
Initially, I identified real estate as the vehicle to make money on my own, and I started reading books and following forums and listening to podcasts. So I always thought that flipping is the game. You have to buy and flip or wholesale, and that's how you make money in real estate. But then one day I stumbled upon your training on one of the teaching platforms, which I think was free. If there was a cost, it was probably like $10. It wasn't a lot of money at all. And I just binge watched all your videos because they made sense to me. They were logical. Every time you buy an asset, you look at the numbers. If they make sense, you go after it. If they don't make sense, you move on to the next deal. So, no deal is a win the same way a deal could be a win. If you spend too much time analyzing or over analyzing an asset, you're just wasting time. So once I found your teachings and I went through I listened to them for like 2 days. I called you guys and then I signed up for the program. I was all in before I even called you. I told my wife, like, I'm signing up because I didn't want to waste any time, and time is always now, especially in real estate. Like, I sold 2 properties. I'm about to sell 2 more properties that I bought the following year. My total profits were like close to $1.5 million on 2 deals, and I made that in like short 4 years. Back in the day when I talked to my financial advisor, you know, my dream was to make like over $1 million over my lifetime sitting in 401k account. And then when you start pulling it out, you start paying taxes and all that stuff. So it's truly, real estate truly helps you achieve financial independence and build wealth quickly.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely it does. And you've done a phenomenal job. So Yvonne, uh, prior to joining this program, did you have any real estate experience at all?
No, just bought my house and refinanced my house.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, I had experience, like I bought my primary residence as FHA back in the day. So went FHA always required you to go take the course. So that's where you learn how buying the house works, and how the banks work and how insurance works. But it's on a different level, it's on residential level, and I never really invested in real estate. So all my knowledge was just me following the forums and reading the books and listening to podcasts.
Yeah, yeah. And one amazing, well, you've done 4 amazing deals. 2 of them stick out. One of them you put down, it was a 6-unit property. You put down $1,000 down
Correct.
payment, right? And we'll post that video later. And then the income was $9,000 a month on that property. Is that right?
Right.
Right.
Initially, it was much lower because when I was buying the property, it wasn't stabilized. But
Hmm.
once we did the rehabs, once we brought the rents to market, it was close to 9,000 a month, and I paid $1,000 with seller financing to buy it. So I didn't have to deal with banks.
Yeah.
It was a signature deal, I would say.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And you didn't find it from a broker. You found it through us, and we're teaching you how to do your
Correct.
marketing. Yeah, we went direct to the property owner, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
That's the only way to capitalize on sellers who are tired or who are out of state. If
Hmm.
you go to the market, even if the seller themselves don't know what they should sell for, the broker that represents the seller, they'll try to get top dollar for them.
Yeah.
So you always buy at market, and if you buy at market, you're still gonna make money, but it's gonna move a lot slower.
Yeah.
You'll double your money in like 5 to 10 years. But if you buy cheap by going direct to sellers, especially sellers who are not even ready to sell, you just like send them a letter, and then one day they're like, oh, maybe I should sell. And then you start talking to them, and then
Yeah.
eventually they sell on the market. And once you stabilize, then you use a broker to sell because you want to get top dollar for it. And that's
Yeah.
how you make it happen.
Yeah. So on that one deal, you put $1,000 down. It's a 6-unit. You paid let's see, you paid, what was it, $300,000 for it, right?
Correct.
Yeah, 300,000. And then you sold it. You sold it, and you made almost $400,000 on that property, just that one
Correct.
5 to 6 unit, right?
Well,
And
it was
then
cash flow in all these years.
yeah, yeah, and the cash flow, you used that property to help renovate the rest of the properties.
Yeah, so I used that cash flow to renovate that same property, and then whenever my other properties needed some love, I would just move money from where money was to
Hmm.
where I needed money.
Yeah,
So I had to kick in money only like a few times when I did a large rehab on yet another property. But for these guys, they sustain themselves. So all the cash flow from the properties, I never pulled it out. I used it to rehab and reinvest into the buildings themselves.
yeah, awesome. And then, okay, that's one. And then the second property, these are the same owners, but just 2 6-unit properties. On the second 6-unit, you bought for 250, right?
Correct.
20% down. And then that one, over the next few years, you renovated, and then you sold that one, and you made 445. Is it 445?
Yeah, something like that. 444 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, amazing, amazing.
Yeah, I know.
And that one, and that, so basically, in 4 years, you've made $847,000. Is that right?
Correct. And like back in the day, I would think you have to buy like Empire State Building to make like $1 million in a few years. But apparently you can buy, 5, 6 unit properties from, distressed sellers, not necessarily distressed sellers, tired sellers, older people who are tired of managing the properties, they're tired of dealing with tenants, and then you buy them up, you put property management company in place. They know how to run the show, they know how to put the rules in place so that you kick out all the bad tenants right away if there are any, and you stabilize the property, you do all the renovations so that it becomes more attractive, you increase the rents, you force appreciation, and then when you exit, that's when you make real money.
There you go. Those are the big paydays, and that's our business model right there.
Yeah.
And you executed it perfectly. And you have 2 remaining properties that you own that are on the market. You're going to sell those. That's if they sell at market price, that's an additional $600,000, right?
Correct.
And so over almost 4 years, you're going to create about 1.4 to 1.5 million dollars.
Correct.
Right. And then what was your total down payment? Not your renovation cost, but what was your total down payment for all the properties?
My initial property I bought for cash, so it kind of skews that, but I paid about 160 for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then only after I renovated some units, I was able to finance the property and just leave the down payment in and pull the rest of the cash out. So when I did that event, I think I was like about 50,000 into it because it was assessed at about 250. So I had 50,000 in that one. Then I put 50 into the other one. Then I put about 50 into yet another one. And then the last one that you talked about initially, I put only $1,000 in. So I was about 200,000 in with all the rehab money and all that stuff. And I never pulled any money out. So I consider that 200,000 to be like parked to generate what it ended up being. So I turned 200,000 into, let's say, $1.4 million over 4 years, and 2 of the properties even less. So it's like 7 times return.
Yeah, and pretty amazing, right? And you have graduated from the program, and what's next? I know you're selling these properties not to just say sell and make a bunch of money and say bye bye to us or to the commercial real estate. You're going to continue to invest. You're doing a 1030 exchange, right?
Yeah, it's a lifetime journey. Once you get into commercial real estate, you get hooked. You see the true value of it. Like, I still want to do it full time. I've been distracted by my other business, but eventually I'll do a lot more of it. If you do bigger deals, you can make even more money. But even with smaller deals, like we just talked the numbers, I was shocked to see how much money you can make. Obviously, the market helps. When I bought, I was able to buy at the right time, the right price. And now we were just on the peak of the real estate cycle. So that helped too. But you gotta learn, you gotta keep up with the market to buy right and to sell right. And usually you make money at the time when you buy, because if you don't buy right, you'll never be able to sell right.
Yeah, exactly. It's amazing. You came into this program as a business owner, and now your lingo and how you execute deals and deal with sellers and lenders and property managers is pretty amazing, Ivan.
Yeah, it's once you get a hold of it, it's a common sense. They just use their own language, but once you understand it and you do at least one deal, you'll be able to talk the talk. It's not a rocket science, but there are tons of nuances that if you have to learn on your own, you're gonna make mistakes, you're gonna lose money, you're gonna waste time. That's where commercial property advisors and like Peter come in handy, because every time I have a question which requires special knowledge or experience, Peter will always have the answer because he's done a lot of deals over time. And he talked to a lot of brokers and a lot of insurance companies and a lot of property managers. So, they have to deal with all kinds of issues with the properties, evictions, fires, insurance claims. So every time anything possible comes up, Peter will be able to give you exactly what you should be doing, like within a split of a second. He doesn't even need to go and look it up because he just knows. So that help and support, it definitely helps you get started quickly and achieve success in just a few years. So, long term, I want to keep buying real estate. I might not need such a like hold hand in anymore, like for day-to-day activities. But again, if something big comes up, or if there are any, if anything weird comes up, that's where Peter and Commercial Property Advisors are definitely there to help and back you up.
All right. All right. Hey, thanks, Ivan, for your time today. Really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Peter.
Okay,
Really
you're
appreciate
welcome.
it too.